soon.
That's one of the flashbacks that we actually hear. Do you think that was Edward? Yet, in spite of the unfamiliar voices and unwanted touches from shadows lurking in the dark, rousing is a slow, arduous process. Difficult, every limb heavy with lead. No matter my aversion for the words they murmur in my ears or the sight of her horrid smile from afar, my body refuses to yield. I am at their mercy. Beyond fathomable reason, my consciousness refuses the pull of the waking world, choosing to linger in the pits of a dream, gradually drawing me deeper into unknown depths. Somehow, even if it might mean I may never open my eyes, I allow them.
You do not belong there, my love.
Not that I mind getting a few extra hours, of course. The bed's more than comfortable as it is, after an exhausting day yesterday. Babysitting Kylie and the stress of finding an intruder in my own home. I think I deserve a little break every once in a while, especially after going through all that in a single day. I can only be on the receiving end of so many unacceptable things within the span of a few hours, you know? As gracious a host and person I am, my patience has its limits too. Although there's still that problem with Hana. I haven't forgotten that, of course. But that's why I hired Shrokin. He's competent enough. He won't even last a day in my service if he's any lesser than those half-wits who think they can deceive me with sweet words. He's more than capable of working on his own without guidance. Let the butler take care of that little problem with Hana while I... Hana's body is still missing. Hana's still missing and the trespasser's still out there.
You do not need her. I am here. We are here.
We...
This is where your home is. Where you belong. For all that blood you shed. Come back to us.
How long has it been since? Johans has never taken this long before.
Surely there should have been an update by now, right?
So why isn't there?
Please don't go.
Bloody hell, the cretins I've surrounded myself with.
And isn't that enough reason to force myself out of bed? As it has always been the case. Sorry, girl. My eyes fly open, expecting the warm rays of sunshine filtering through the curtains, only to be greeted by a blinding flash of light and a loud boom of thunder that sounded nearly too close to my ears. Strong gusts of wind will occasionally burst in from the open balcony door, bringing in drizzles of cold rain into the room. I must have left it open earlier before dozing off. The carpet and the floor closest to it is already drenched. Hana would be crossed if she were still here. Not that it's an immediate problem. If anything, it's this power outage we should be minding first. With the intruder still at large, steering through this darkness might be far more fatal than multiple stab wounds or a gunshot to the chest.
Oh, great. The power's still out. That is exactly what I need right now. Yes.
Yes. It's the storm, of course. I should have moved back to the penthouse to weather it in a much more comfortable setting. Already I can hear the creak and groans of this old place as rain beats against the windows.
Johans! Has someone been sent to check the circuit breaker yet?
No answer.
Johans?
Silence.
Shrokin! Someone! Anyone?
Still nothing, and my cordial mood is quickly dissipating.
Where are those idiots when you need them?
It's really a wonder why he hasn't fixed this yet. Was I really out that long? Can't be. It has only been a few hours after midnight at the time on my wristwatch is anything to go by. Unless I've forgotten to change it again after that last overseas trip a month ago. Though the delay is understandable if he went looking for Hana as he promised. But bloody hell, my safety is also at stake here. Cursing, I stay still, letting my eyes try and adjust to the darkness while my hands fumble for my slippers. If that butler isn't going to fix this, I may as well order the security posted outside to do it. It's probably just a blown fuse. Anyone with a brain can repair one. Grabbing my jacket and with footwear finally on, I make for the door. Although in haste, I pause briefly when a gleam catches my eye. On one of my drawers, underneath the clutter I've yet to organize, the muzzle of a gun peeks out. Hana has never openly commented on my possession of it, but I know she does not approve of it, knowing the bloody firearms policy in this nation. Of course, I've not found much use for it in the 7 years we've been together, otherwise she would have already had it thrown out years ago. Doesn't mean it won't be useful right now. Without second thought, I seize it, sending the stuff piled above it onto the floor. Whatever. I'll get to it later. This blackout problem should be resolved first. Right next to my missing security detail, as it turns out.
Where the fuck did everyone go?
Hello? Where is everyone? There were 2, weren't there? Shrokin had 2 blokes posted to stand guard for the night. I might be panicking for a bit earlier, but I'm quite sure I haven't gotten delusional yet. What, did both of them decide to take a break? Because they think the master's already sound asleep and won't be looking for them?
Damn nitwits.
I know assassinations happen very rarely these days, and even less in a peaceful city like Luxburn, but bollocks! There's been a woman going in and out of this place uninvited who may or may not want to put a knife in my back. Isn't that enough reason to stay on alert? I'm fairly certain Shrokin won't just enlist their help just for this power outage, only to leave me unprotected. We have a difficult friendship, so to speak, but I doubt that man is an opportunist. I'm holding the lives of his family in my hands, after all. He knows what I am capable of doing. He's not stupid enough to do anything that'll endanger them and save only himself. So where then? Only my footsteps echo along dark passages, and I am left gripping the handle of my pistol for some sort of comfort. Without proper lighting, and with this storm still raging outside, the stories I've heard about this place seem to have some truth to it. Some. If I'm reaching and wish to entertain myself for a bit, I'll say there might also be ghosts whispering in my ears, calling. Of course, it's just the wind in the trees rustling outside. Nothing good will come of allowing these thoughts to linger when problems are piling up in front of me one after another. Especially with what greets me once I get to the foyer. Alright, let's read our update. Real quick. Things are about to get out of control. Looking at the ash picture is making me sad again. Luke Wright woke up to a storm raging outside, and with his whole house eerily quiet. Power was still off, and his butler was nowhere to be found, even when called. Taking his gun with him, he went out to investigate, and in the foyer of his own home... Though it's dark, the large windows illuminate the area much more easily than any of the other rooms. And from where I stand at the top of the stairs, I can easily make out their forms. Recognize them, even. It's all gone crazy when these intruders come into my house. I'm no stranger to a cop playing dirty. The smart ones knew that neither life nor criminals are going to play fair. And if one of this wog's sort is in on this, I'm not surprised too. But Lily? The estate agent? She doesn't seem the sort. And Daisy too? What will Kylie think of her Miss Pink if the poor tyke finds out about this? To top it all off, they all have the nerve, to look surprised when I announce my presence.
Well, well, what have we here? If I were any less sober, I'd say this is the beginning of a joke.
Bloody trespassers. What is wrong with these people? Did they really think I'll be fine with them walking into my home like this? What are they even doing in here? If I didn't know any better, they might also be behind Hana's disappearance.
That's right, my love.
They must have a motive.
Make them pay
And it better be a good one.
for all wrong they've done to us.
Or a bullet to the head is the least all of them will deserve.
Let's see. A photographer, a high school teacher, and a real estate agent walk into a mansion.
Boom! Thunder crackles once again, cutting me off. This time, its sound hits close enough that it nearly feels as if the windows and the ground itself are rumbling. All is deathly still for a moment. I don't let it stop me, however, as I slowly make my way towards them, taking one careful step at a time, relishing the expression of fear in their eyes. I suppose there's something ominous in this setting, with the heavy rain outside and the lack of light here. I kinda like it, to be honest. Adds something to the atmosphere. I suppose I must look like the villain now. But short of me getting close to them, a noise to my left distracts me, briefly halting my movements while curiosity takes over every murmurs in my head. And it's a good thing perhaps that I did, because as soon as I look up, I see him. Another trespasser. Great. Just as he's about to jump down from furniture that has somehow ended up piled and blocking the door to the parlor. What happened there? And did he really think it's all right to do that in other people's house? Lout.
Teach him, my lord. Put him in his place.
My hand's already moving before any rationale can stop me. Fingers firm at my gun when I finally release the safety from it and take aim. Not at him, but at his friends. They are his, aren't they? Why else would they be here together? Doesn't matter. He won't let the people he cares about be harmed. My finger on the trigger is more than itching to shoot, but I hold back. Sure, I could have simply taken aim at him. But more than seeing him bleed, I want to see the expression on his face once he realizes everything he's doing is futile. He's trapped. Lives are in my hand. His life's in my hand.
Had I known there would be a party in my own home tonight, I would have opened a bloody bottle or two. People these days, in my own home. Can you believe it? I feel so left out.
I can tell the exact moment the realization dawns on him. A short second of his body freezing and blood draining from his face, as soon as his feet hits the floor and he looks up. He's already a prey trapped by his own recklessness.
Pathetic.
And really, Daisy, even you, what would Kylie say?
Luke, this isn't what you're thinking. You have to listen to us. There's something going on here.
Well, obviously, why else would people be trespassing in my home? What about little Lily over there, then? What's your excuse? Checking back if your clients are doing okay? Is that it? Is this what this is? Oh, we're doing good, by the way.
Sir, please.
Oh, please, what?
Becca's right, sir. We need to get out of this place. You need to leave.
Not a good enough excuse, darling. You people are the ones who need to get out of my sight. Don't worry, I might consider pressing lighter charges for the woman. Can't say the same for the rest of you. But really now, I swear the people of this city need to be taught the meaning of privacy. This is how you want to start the week. Why don't we just go with a bloody massacre if we want to surprise people in their homes, huh?
It's just a passing remark, of course. I'm not stupid enough to do something that'll bring negative attention to myself. Reputation and all that. I can't just risk it. The thought of having more dead bodies here, it's already quite too much. It'll literally be overkill, especially for someone like me. Nevertheless, joke or not, Feathers wastes no time drawing his own gun at the slight wave of my own, even if he knows it's already too late. Still, he glares at me. Still, he fights back.
Now, Feathers. Manners. You're in no position to be pointing that gun at people.
There's no desperation in him like I'm hoping. Just an annoyance flickering shortly before being hidden underneath a challenge. The likes of him are the kind of people I hate the most. Even with their failures already glaring down at them, mocking every worthless move they make, they have the impudence to stare people in the eye.
Why don't you put yours down first, and then we'll talk about manners.
Oh, he talks back. The gall! You know, your kind pisses me off so much.
Annoying, most of the time. Like a damn pest you can't be rid of. But to some degree, it is commendable. I'll give him that. After all, we're almost the same in that regard. Almost. I'm still the better person, of course. He tells me to put the gun down, but I see no reason why I should. I'm a homeowner in defense of my own home. I have the right to, I'd like to think. Questionable permit of firearms aside. It's not like I wanted this. But I'm already high-strung, and their presence does not help. Bloody peasants. I can never seem to figure how their minds fully work. And I should have also expected he won't let this end in this kind of standstill.
Sorry about this. I really don't have time for you.
Bye, Ash. A short lapse. It's all it is. One moment of letting my guard down. Before I can react, he fires 2 shots in quick succession. A sound crackling through the empty foyer, almost as loud as the storm raging outside, breaking the tense air in the room. Pain explodes in my wrist, no 2 seconds later. Just a graze. However, it is enough to cause my fingers to tense, and the pistol slides to the floor with a dull thud.
Why, you insolent!
The next moments happen in a blur. In the following second, I am being tackled bodily to the ground, back hitting the cold floor hard and an arm pinning me down by the neck. There's a fleeting minute of panic and struggle while I try to untangle myself from him, before he manages to knock me out. And then... a scream. A wail piercing through the thick air. Shrill and sharp enough for the both of us to cover our ears and hunker down on our knees. And with each sharp note beating harshly against my head are the images again. Faces and voices so utterly unfamiliar, seeping into every crevice, turning sinister with each shift. They are not mine, but they might as well be with how vivid and crisp they appear. Over and over they all flash behind my eyes until it becomes unbearable. Pounding, throbbing. Thudding against my skull worse than any headache a hangover can give. Bloody, I'll take a hangover over this any day. A haze begins to fill my vision as black spots dance around the corners of my eyes. Beside me, the detective suddenly moves, shouting a name I don't quite hear, and then... In the next second, he falls, down on one knee, desperately trying to keep himself up with what strength he has left. But eventually his own body caves in, taking the horrified Lily down with him, muttering quietly to her as something distinctly red flows from his body. Blood? This man isn't supposed to be dead yet. He isn't supposed to. I didn't shoot him, I'm sure of it. So what killed him? What in bloody blazes is going on here? Is it so wrong to just want a quiet night where nothing needs attending to? Just one normal night. Quickly, everything has turned crazy with perilous happenings that are hard to explain. But it seems that, when it comes to me, death is always around the corner. I want to look him over. This is going to cause more problems. All this screaming and crying for a detective who's died for no apparent reason is giving me a migraine. I need to get all these people out of my house one way or the other. But in the blurry mess of my vision, none of this registers enough to compel my body to move. Nothing does, except for the voice unexpectedly ringing above the discord, and when I finally gather the strength to look up, everything falls away into the background. All that matters is her.
I told you, didn't I?
And her as well. The glitchy her.
Everything you're doing is useless, Ashton Frey. And now, you're dying. Meddlesome fool.
Hannah? You're not supposed to be here.
For a moment, I wonder if it had been me who had died and not her. After all, that can be the only logical explanation as to why I hardly draw breath while she stands there. Of course, another logical explanation would be that I'm high and this is a really, really bad trip. Either reason doesn't suit me. Though it can't very well be the former. Even from down here, I can see the blood that stains her dress. Seeing that makes me feel as if my hands are covered in them once more. Warm and sticky, sweet and sickly.
Oh, Luke, darling, my love. You look so upset. Are you not happy to see me?
But let's be honest here. Any explanation, any reason as to why a dead woman walks once more is a bad one to me. Especially when it's one that I've killed. I mean, how even?
How can this be? You're...
Do you not find my presence desirable anymore, my love?
Hannah? What sort of sick joke is this?
Tell me what's wrong, my dear prince. Does my presence leave you so speechless?
She says with a smile on her face, stiff and forced. A dead body's parts doesn't seem as malleable as they would be on a living human. She takes a step forward and her movements are stiff and choppy. Like a corpse being forced into position despite the rigor mortis. Like the corpse that she should be. I find my voice once more when she takes a careful step forward. Just the thought of that thing approaching just makes my skin crawl. She stops to listen, fixated on my voice and on my words.
No, you're not. You're not supposed to be here. You can't be here. You're dead.
The "I killed you" is left unsaid, considering present company.
And I have returned. For you. You don't have to do this. You can still have it all, Luke. Just please. Don't you love me? We would have been so beautiful.
I can still hear her pleas as she begs me not to be rid of her. Not once have I forgotten this particular crime of my own. No matter how much I wash my hands, I can still see her blood on them. She's dead. That is an irrefutable fact, and nothing short of the devil would bring her back.
Why are you acting this way, my love? Does this not make you happy?
I feel like there's something lodged in my throat, and my heart feels like it's being sat on with how tight my chest feels.
Of course I'm happy to see you again, Hana. Of course, I love you, Hana. But how do I know you're... How do I know you're you, darling?
Whatever do you mean? You look perturbed. Why not come here? I can make you feel better.
If by act of some malevolent god she was back, I don't think she would take too kindly to what I had done to her. This certainly isn't what I would expect. Not the fixated gaze or these loving words. There is no accusation in them, no anger, when Hana has every right to look at me so. My guilt is overshadowed by the oddity of these illogical circumstances.
No. Stay where you are. Stay back. Don't go near me. Don't touch me.
It is that rejection which turns her expression absolutely fearsome, and everything turns to complete and utter shite. She wasn't too happy about that. Just hang in there, girl, for a second. Got some catching up to do again. To his horror, Hana, or what used to be her when she was alive, without the ghost next to her throat, reached out for him, calling him to come to her side. Terrified, Luke recoiled. It was then that when the whole house shifted before his eyes. Hana's body shudders and shakes as if she's about to have a seizure, until her visage ripples and changes. Golden yellow hair is slowly stained with inky black, and her face melts into that of the woman, the maid from before, with a menacing expression on her face. Along with it is the shifting of the very ground we stand on. It's a slow thing, a whisper more than a bang as the darkness creeps into every corner of the room. The walls shudder and groan. Blood runs from the ceiling, crawls down the walls, and stains the floor. It feels as if life itself is being sucked from the house slowly but surely. The beauty of the place is gone, with only the dead, decaying remains of a mansion left in its wake. I don't have to wonder if it is just the foyer that's become this nightmarish place. I can already hear it. Gone are the growling, the thunder, and the lashings of rain and wind against the foyer's high windows. All of it has been replaced by a more grating sound. A cacophony of voices from nowhere and everywhere, echoing throughout the now horrid walls. Voice that neither belong to us nor the people who live here.
What's going on?
Help! Please!
All throughout the house, shouts of alarm and surprise ring out, a mirror to the horror creeping up in each of us. Who wouldn't be shocked? This is insane. Even Daisy, feisty woman that she is, trembles at the sight of it, clinging desperately to Lily and Steele, who stands protectively in front of the two. I suppose it only makes sense for the man to take on that role when their friend is gone. Something to hold on to when there seems to be no end in sight to this insanity. If anything, this only feels like it's the beginning of the end. This is true this time.
Help me! Oh my god! Please, somebody! Anybody! Who are you? Stay away! No. Stay away! Stay away!
Mother of God, pray for us sinners.
I'm sorry.
Their screams fill the mansion. She laughs all the while, a harsh, agonizing sound that goes on for what feels like forever. Until there is nothing but silence, her horrid smile and pale hands reaching out to me, calling, beckoning, pleading. I'm terrified. I really am, like I should be. but I have never been one to truly stay afraid. I've long learned that fear will not get me anywhere. Cowering in a corner doesn't keep me safe, and it will not keep me alive. Not like rage does. I've learned to use this burning hate inside of me to survive. There is no difference now.
Stay away from me!
Why? Why do you wish to leave? This is where you belong, my lord. Remember the blood you shed. The very same one that now taints this house, along with many others.
I did not do this! You lie! I did nothing!
What of her then? Your wife, your sunshine. Doesn't her blood already stain these halls? Stain your hands?
Then, Hana's really? You're the one who... You killed her. Your own wife!
She's lying!
The word sounds so familiar. Just a few days ago, I've spouted the same ones of that vile woman who ruined everything. If it weren't for that munter, that harlot... But it's no use. A seed has already been planted in their heads. Defending myself, especially against the likes of him, is pointless. Bloody hell, even Daisy's now looking at me with the same revolting stares people have given me once they know of my dirt.
So it's true then? With Hana? Hana, Luke?
I don't know what she's talking about. Are you that gullible, Daisy? Do you really believe the words of a murderer? She killed your friend over there.
Now you deny it. Pointing fingers, aren't we? You see, my love. No difference. No difference, you and I. Just like the rest of us. Just like every single soul in this putrid wreck. We've waited for so long. You can hear them, yes. Their pleas, their calls, their invitation. Come, my lord. The house seeks its master.
She, the monster, reaches out again. Her hands a gory, abhorrent sight, along with that smile spread across her face. My body's already moving on instinct, stumbling back, one step at a time in a desperate bid to be away from her. Anything to put distance between me and this vile creature. No matter what she says, I am nothing like her. I need to get out of this house. Out of this country, preferably. There's nothing for me here. Not anymore. Nothing to keep tied to this place. With Hana gone, Shrokin likely taken by this woman as well, nothing's left to bind me to this wretched city. I can leave. I can... My foot steps on something, sending me sliding on my back and flat on the floor. Beside me, a paper, familiar one, flutters down. It's this thing again from the open house. Though it feels less like a gimmick and more like a threat, what with recent events. It must have fallen from the detective in the commotion earlier. And with its owner having died a gruesome death, now it simply bears its equally grisly message for everyone in the room to see. Help me. Help me. Help me. Is this it? What they've been telling us? Why everything in my life has gone to shite? Because of some stupid old letter? An invitation indeed. One I am not willing to accept. Not any time. From the top of the stairs, the creature moves again, drawing my attention back to her. Her gait remains slow and awkward as she walks forward, that smile never leaving her. But I won't give her the chance. I am not dying here. Adrenaline kicks in, and despite panicked gasps and worried glances from Daisy's friends, I pay them no mind as I reach for the main door and... Without warning, the door slams open, revealing not the Manchin grounds like I am expecting. Before my mind can even comprehend what's happening, black tendrils have already coiled tightly around my limbs, dragging every person in the foyer into the room. None of us even get to scream, when darkness completely envelops us upon the doors closing.
Understand where your place is now, my love. You belong here. Is it so difficult to grasp? We've been waiting.
I'm excited for this part. I have seen this scene and different iterations of it so many times, and now I get the true ending version of it. Even just seeing the last scene of them in the foyer. Usually there's a lot of story update, story update, story update, so the fact there was like no story update for any of the bits. I'm like, okay, I think we're actually on the true ending path now, which is its own separate thing from everything else. Which is why there are no story updates. It's interesting. Okay. There's a moment of panic when the feeling of the tendrils around my limbs finally dissipates. Oh, the three of you are all hunched together. That is definitely different. As soon as my eyes adjust to the darkness of the room and I'm on my feet, I'm reaching for my knife and holding it out, watching, waiting for every movement, using it as a way to put distance between me and these peasants. Who knows what they'll do to me, now that they know what I've done. There's only 4 of us in this room, 3 of them, friends at that, and only me. I cannot trust these people not to turn on me. I cannot trust anyone. Not anymore. Not after this. Despite the pleading looks Lily shoots my way while they all huddle in the corner behind Steele, I have to remind myself that even people like her are capable of doing the unpleasant. She's only human, after all. It's never an excuse. Why, even Hana has her cunning, manipulative moments, though she does it much subtler than I. Why else would Lily show this letter to us that day if not to save herself? I guess that backfired on her, now that she and her own friends are also stuck here. Still, I have every right to be livid. Everything that I've built has fallen apart. My wife? My children? All because these people came into our lives.
You 3! All of you!
Oh, this is so different.
This is all your fault! If I'm dying to this bloody case, I'm taking you all down with me!
I like that Becca's already, like, angry. She's like, dude, I'm gonna smack you.
Hey now, Mr. Wright. I know the situation ain't good, but we have to calm down. We're all in the same boat here.
You shut your mouth! If it weren't for you, or this letter, for all of you, none of this would have happened! Hana would still be...
Suddenly, Daisy steps up and slaps the knife away from my hand.
Don't you dare, Luke! Don't you dare put that blame on us!
It is so weird seeing them in these positions. I'm so not used to it. Without batting an eye, glaring at me as if she might just rip my head off in this instant, said knife slides uselessly under the table out of my reach. I should have expected she's not the kind to submit even under threat. For all the black man's height, right now all of us appear smaller facing her anger.
Last I checked, we're not the one whose hands have been stained with his wife's own blood!
And what about your friend over there? Are you saying she is responsible for this mess? For the lives this sorting letter took? Dragging other people into her own problems just so she could save her little sorry self? You think I haven't seen that before? Getting real tired of your double standards, Daisy!
You know this curse is an entirely different issue from what you've done, Luke. Because, knowing you, I don't doubt that even without that blasted letter, you would have eventually—
Rebecca, stop! All of you stop this!
To hear Lily speak out loud, I can't say I'm not surprised. She has always given me the impression of someone so meek from the moment I've met her, either from her inexperience or her station in life. She has never struck me as someone fitting to be a real estate agent. If anything, that meltdown she had during the open house had only proven my assumptions. Until now. I'm taking center stage now, Becca. Quietly, she puts herself between me and Daisy, cutting whatever scathing words we've yet to hurl at the other. The way she glares at me, it reminds me a little of the way my own mum would look at me, particularly when I've done something wrong. And it's not a stare she's unused to showing. She has done this before, probably to a younger sibling. Huh. If she only sees us now as a pair of squabbling kids and not 2 mature adults, well, that's only to be expected. No doubt that's how she sees us. For a long moment, there's only silence in the room. Steele, the big oaf, doesn't even dare break it, merely watching the 3 of us behind 2 women who he towers over significantly. Too soft. Not that it matters when Lily starts speaking again, after some of the anger and tension has lifted from the room.
Stop this, please! With or without that damn piece of paper, we—
A deep breath. An exhale. And then she closes her eyes, a crease forming between her eyebrows while she grips her hand tightly in front of her.
we still would have ended up in this mess.
The atmosphere that descends into the room right after that admission is anything but pleasant. Can I call it that? An admission? It seems like it from the way her eyes nervously flick between her friends and I. She appears to know more than she lets on, and how she makes herself appear smaller after dropping that bomb on us doesn't sit quite well with me. And patience is something I don't have the luxury of having right now and bestowing upon other people. What else does this girl know? What else is she not telling us? Because from the looks of this, even her friends have no idea what she's talking about. Unwilling to wait, I grab her arm before she retreats without explanation, waving the letter still in my hand in front of her.
Ow! Sir, you're hurting me! Luke, will you stop taking it out on every single person?
Your friend is hiding something, Daisy.
She struggles for a moment, but my hold eventually forces her to look up at me. Fear and uncertainty spreads across her features, especially when her eyes land on the damned paper. As much as I want to be considerate right now, I want answers.
What do you mean, Lily?
I'm not sure about it.
Don't give me that, you know something!
Ow! Please, sir. I know the paper's useless, okay? Those people they mentioned in the news lately, all those who died, my co-workers, the open house clients, none of them had seen it. Even Rose. And yet they're all dead. I should know, sir. That letter has been with me since I picked it up. And I swear I didn't make copies of this thing. Even if I wanted to save myself, I wouldn't do that to my friends. Or anyone.
And yet we're all here! Are you taking me for a fool, Lily?
We would have ended up here either way. Maybe? I really don't know. Sir, please. All I know is that paper isn't the reason why all of this is happening. There's something else that...
This place.
Steele has been quiet this entire time, but the sound of him talking, however whispered it is, still manages to catch us all off guard. We all pause, turning to him with likely the same questions in our eyes.
What?
I just remembered something, a friend told me. You know, stuff about ghosts, or curses. You probably don't want to hear it.
No, it might be something. What about this place, Zach? Maybe it's also the reason why Ash went here.
There's still a moment of hesitation in him, but the mention of their dead friend appears enough reason to spur him into speaking.
Remember what I told you the last time you and Ash visited? A few days ago?
A pause while he allows Lily to remember. Soon enough, whatever it is dawns on her and her face lights up with something like hope? Of all things, in this nightmare, hope? Her head snaps up and she reaches for Steele's arm to give it a squeeze. A reassurance? Or a confirmation? The meaning is lost even to Daisy, who glances at them baffled.
Belle, what are you... Becca, it's this place. Think about it.
Then they proceed to tell some ridiculous narrative about the supernatural. Stories about ghosts, legends, curses, born out of great anger and pain, and whatever else people use to scare children. Not that I believe any of it, as if knowing will help. Bunch of loons, these people. Officially off their rockers. To think I'll be stuck in this nightmare with people like them. What did I ever do to the world? Of course, it's all absurd until...
I think it's just like what the professor guy said. Just like that old story. This mansion and some other thing might be keeping her here. You know, something he wanted in life, but never got to have. Something like that.
Or maybe it's not something, Zachary.
Someone. The who doesn't have to be uttered out loud. There's only one person in this room who that woman calls after. I like that Becca looked at Luke for just that 1 second and then looked back at her friends again. Like, she's like, I'm not gonna say who. Every single one of them has heard it. Bloody hell. It's in the reluctant shift in Daisy's eyes when they flicker over to me, though only briefly. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. She's also holding information on her own. Or perhaps a realization she just had. Doesn't matter. I know when people have slowly started to turn on me. How do they think I lasted in this cutthroat world? Betrayed them before they do the same thing to you. Put a knife in their back before they can act. Kill or be killed. Survival, in a nutshell. Why did they think I put Hana out of the picture before she can cry for help and ruin everything? What now? Are they going to throw me at that creature? See what happens to save themselves? I am no fool.
No. You're all in on this, aren't you? Of course! Of fucking course!
Luke, that isn't what I...
My hands are already on the door, pushing it open before she finishes. Betrayal or not, this isn't anything new. They may not be thinking of it right now, but eventually, Eventually. Trapped in this nightmare, the first thing to do is put a distance between us before a plan even hatches in their minds. There's 3 of them. Only one of me. I have to get out of here, find an exit to this place or a way to get rid of each of them. But Karma, the damned thing, seems to be at work here. Because when the door swings open and I barrel into the next room, there's only a reminder. Of the blood I've shed. Of her. Of them.
You don't have to do this! You can still have it all, Luke!
Really, he was able to leave. And this is where it took him.
Just please! Don't you love me?
It is not only her sobs that I hear, but his, hers, theirs. I'll never know now, will I? What kind of life I would have lived with them. If I will ever be a father better than my own. But I suppose I have my answer now. I killed them after all. It's their blood that stains my hand in this room.
So be it.
By my own doing, I've ended all of it, even before anything has begun. Now their blood drips from every wall, pooling at every inch of the floor, leaving a sorry mess at the hem of my pants with every step I take into the room. Like the cold, suffocating embrace of my sins, the dread from the sight creeps up my limbs, slow and unhurried, twisting and turning. Up and up it goes, until nothing but a sharp guttural cry escapes from my mouth and a realization. It hits me like a gut punch, sending my knees buckling and the rest of me sprawling. Behind me, Daisy shouts. A worried cry, running into the room and placing a comforting hand on my shoulder. Following after her are Lily and Steele, lingering by the doorway to that room. Hana's little nursery. Or at least it's supposed to be one until things in this place have gone haywire. I can't even bring myself to look at it.
Are you all right? You Bampot. Don't just run off like that. We don't know what's going on in this house.
Bampot? That's a new one. But the sharp timbre always present in her tone pales in comparison to every voice ringing in my ears, along with Hana's and the distinct cry of babies somewhere. How many people have died here, I wonder? How many of them are still trapped in here? Because it isn't just that creature's murmurs and pleas that I hear. It isn't just my wife's or the life she carried in her, but hundreds, thousands of them. Not that it matters now, when I know I've also doomed Hana and my own children to this nightmare. Somehow, out of everything, it's the thought of them trapped in here that sets me on the edge, sends my stomach churning and bile rising up my throat. Then, slowly, a laughter. I also laughed back then, didn't I? The moment my eyes has seen what was done to be of that room. Days later, Shrogan asked if I'm happy, that bastard. I suppose I have a clear answer now. There's no happiness in this. Despite the chuckles and the giggles spilling forth, there's only a hollow void.
I don't deserve them, Daisy! Any of them!
And there's only one way to fix this. Woo! Our final choice, which is different than all the other ones. Instead of burning the letter or burning the mansion, so either I say this isn't how it's supposed to end, or I tell them to leave. So I'm going to do the true ending right now, which is this. And then another time we'll see what would have happened if we did this, which is our last bad ending we haven't unlocked yet. But for now, go. One way to correct a mistake. Mistake. Is it even one? Isn't this what I want for myself? To have everything. Money, power, hell, even women. Don't I have that freedom now and so much more? I married her for this. This has always been the plan had things not been derailed. Get rid of the dad, marry the starry-eyed heiress, acquire the company, and make her disappear. Make it appear like a terrible accident. Clean. Efficient. Yet somehow it feels wrong to use that word. I loved her, didn't I? This is a sin, more like. Perhaps one that deserves an equal punishment of death. A life for a life sort of deal. Payment for the countless other lives I've also ruined and ended to get where I am. There used to be a satisfaction in this, in getting what I want. Now I only feel remorse.
This is going to get me, no matter what I do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Luke, we can't stay here. We have to find a way out. We have to...
Go.
What? What are you talking about?
You heard me, Daisy. Go. Leave. Have you also gone deaf now?
Never return.
Sir, is this about what we said? Forget about that. We're not leaving anyone here. Ash wouldn't want that.
I know, that's why we had to get rid of him, Lily. Because he would have spoken up. As if I give a damn shite about him. He still pisses me off. If anything, he should be the one thanking me. I'm saving his friends. I suppose I should make note of that. Something to keep in mind in case we're ever going to meet in that afterlife. Provided we end up in the same place. The crap I've done, I'll likely end up in the 7th level of hell. Funny how easy it is to think of these things with your death looming over you. Or maybe it's simply because I'm getting old. Well, not that old, but it certainly feels like it. I've done a lot of shitty stuff in my lifetime. So, maybe this one time, I might as well do some good. Pushing myself off the floor is a struggle on its own. More from the metaphorical weight on my shoulders than the pain in my limbs or this headache. There's no backing out now, I suppose. Even if Daisy still doesn't quite understand what I mean. There she sits, looking up at me with nothing but worry. I wonder if in a different lifetime we would have become friends. And more sometimes, Luke. Had I been born to a more decent family, or Damien Wright took me away from the slums before I even learned how to use a knife.
Daisy, do fetch me one final drink, would you? There's a stash in that dresser beside you.
A stash. Ooh, fancy. Oasis whiskey. She quietly hands me one as I've requested, but only after a look of protest flickers across her face. I look at anywhere but her, fixating on the colorful glass bottle she has just handed over to me, before I pop open the cork and take a swig. Or rather, a huge chug of the stuff. There's some delight when I feel a delightful burn in the back of my throat and realize that it isn't exactly wine I have in my hand. Whiskey. How quaint. How fitting. I didn't even think about that. This explains where the rest of the alcohol is.
This isn't the time for some booze, Luke. We're still stuck in this bloody nightmare. A little sense of self-preservation from you would be really nice.
Such a nag. Though, I don't think Hana would much appreciate me drinking in our room either. Or at all, if she has anything to say about it. Probably say something scathing and witty, like, "You might as well shoot yourself in the liver, Lucille. Really now?" Well, she can just tell me about it once we see each other again.
You, steal, isn't it? Make sure your friends make it out of this place in one piece. It shouldn't be too hard for you, right?
Wait, what about you?
For all the weakness he displays, at least this man knows the right questions to ask. And that is exactly when it dawns on Daisy, her concern quickly melting into an expression of utter horror. Any other day I would have laughed loudly at that. To think she cares. I'm almost touched.
What are you... Don't be ridiculous, you ball bag!
You're kidding, right? Look, Wright. Mr. Wright. There must be some other way.
This isn't going to solve anything, you numpty! You're just giving her what she...
I like that Becca's just insulting him every time she says something. Because she's like, ah!
Daisy, or Rebecca,
Ooh, used her actual name.
do me a favor and watch over Kylie for me.
Oh!
The Rugrat shouldn't be allowed more than one glass of parfait a day. Her father spoils her too much.
Why don't you do that yourself? I'm not her godparent, you are!
I have to stifle the giggles that threaten to spill uncontrollably. I'm not yet drunk, but I might as well be. Losing my mind, maybe.
I'm afraid I won't be able to. You're going to have to apologize to her for me as well. You see, Daisy, Where I'm going? Oh, there's no coming back from.
A smile. Then I'm dousing the whole room with the remaining liquor before a word escapes their mouths. They can only watch. I can tell they don't approve of this, but what can they do? It's my house. I can do whatever I want with it. And it doesn't take too long for Steele to catch on. He's seen this ugly side of me more than anyone here. There's still reluctance in him, of course. The man remains soft even for people who have openly hated him. A hesitation in him, even as he's pulling the two women away from the room, quickly ushering them through the doors that should lead them to the hallway.
But Luke, we can't...
Go on, Daisy. There's nothing left for you here.
A long moment of silence, of conflict and pain flashing fleetingly across her face. We never did get along much, Daisy and I. Though, right now, I like to think that she has come to care for a rotten bloke like me the way she might do for another friend. Unable to meet my eyes, perhaps out of some uncalled-for guilt, she simply reaches out for both of my arms and gives it a light squeeze. And then, in a voice so low and whispered,
This is what you want.
not a question, merely a statement, a fact, one that deserves an equal honesty. Funny, I've never been the honest sort.
Yes.
I'm sorry. We're sorry.
Not gonna lie, that was kind of touching too. This whole thing is just full of feels, isn't it? Ooh, hello. Realizing that he had doomed Hana and their children to years of eternal torment inside the house, and despite Rebecca's protests, Luke Wright decided. ... The look on Daisy's face before Steele closes the door behind them? Odd. There's no other word for it. It's the same one my own mum has given me, along with the same words. A gift, I considered them back then. I never understood the use for it. It's not like she didn't take care of me like a mother should. Eleanor Chandler did more than that. But seeing such a strikingly similar expression on Daisy, I understand it now. It was not for her misgivings as a mother. It's for all the what-ifs, could-haves, and should-haves. Things that will never be because it's far too late.
I'm sorry, too.
Under the room's low light, the amber liquid gleams tauntingly where it has landed. On the floor, on the bed, on the walls, on every dresser its splatter has reached. It's brighter, of course, when set alight, but I don't wait for it to spread. If I am to die here, this place also has to go. Burned to the ground with every sin and horror it hides. I suppose this is the closest I can get to an atonement. Without a single glance back, I take the rest of my liquor stash from the dresser with me and heading instead for the door to Hana's nursery. It opens to the study before, though with how fucked up this place is, I'm not entirely sure what I'll find next. One thing's certain.
Somebody. Anyone. Help me. Help us. Luke, please. Our children.
Somewhere in this house, she waits. I allow her voice to lead me, following her cries and pleas, as I go and douse each room I pass with alcohol and set it ablaze. Hello, music? Not a comforting thing to hear, but certainly a better sound than an agonized wail. Amidst the gore and the horror, it's the closest thing I can cling to, including the stray thoughts that has somehow chosen to surface. Short bursts of memories I've always been fond of, more than I care to admit, either out of fear or embarrassment.
How about Botany Bay, Luke? In Kent? It's gorgeous there.
I don't know, but don't you think it's a little too far from here? Remember, I still have a company to manage.
Well, it won't always be that way, yes? And maybe we can also get a dog.
I suppose.
So, someday?
Someday, Buttercup. Someday.
In truth, a half-hearted response, spoken out of ignorance or some sort of complacency over the kind of life I assumed we'll have. Or I'll have. She was never meant to live past the second year of marriage. She has no idea how tempting those paltry dreams of hers now, A little house by the beach, a dog, our children, her, and the vast expanse of the sea before us. She was right. We would have been so beautiful. But as the whole of this place smolders, so do those. When I run out of liquor, I simply drop the bottle and take one off from many nooks I've stashed one. And there's no lack of it in here. The hard stuff, the shorts, the watered-down kind, gifts from a distant relative, friends, so-called friends. You name it. I've made sure there's always one within reach. Hana has called me out on this numerous times before, telling me I have a problem. I've always told her she doesn't know the half of it, before completely dismissing her concerns.
I'll worry a lot, that woman.
Right now, however, I'll give everything to hear her say that again, if only for the last time. With each room I pass and burn, the place becomes easier to navigate, as if it's slowly righting itself, returning to what it's supposed to be. Soon I finally find myself standing before the door to the attic. From the bedroom nearby, the strong odor of burning wood, cloth, and varnish alike wafts from under the door, slowly filling the hall with a thick black smoke. Hopefully Steele is able to get his friends out of here before it's too late. The blaze has already started in earnest in every part of the house. I can already feel the heat seeping from the rooms I've set aflame. In a matter of minutes, flames will engulf the whole house. But there's one more place left. Upstairs, where her cries echo from. Oh, neat. Wow. My feet fall hard and heavy against the old steps, a steep, rickety thing that should have been fixed during renovation. I suppose it's only fitting this is where I make this march, trapped in the highest point of this place, as the rest of the world burns to the ground with me. A final fall. To death. To her. For some reason, nothing about this scares me, no matter how much I've dreaded this kind of end in the past. There's only a calm, a stillness. The same hush that comes after a terrible storm has swept the countryside. Even as I open the door and I am greeted not by Hana's warm embrace, but her cold, chilling smile. But the reality of this, the terror, doesn't take hold and sink until my knees hit the floor and I hear a whisper in my ear. In a voice so familiar, yet different, reverberating inside my head in soft murmurs and sighs, while her arms come from behind to rest across my chest.
You came home to us.
It's Takako. I guess hoping to see Hana here is already asking for far too much. Perhaps something I don't deserve even in death. Yet tears flow freely from my eyes despite the disappointment. Nothing but lightness and air and the feeling of finally being released from shackles that has scraped me raw. Because at the end of this road is her. And I think, this is it. This is how I die. A gradual descent to the abyss as everything around us goes up in flames. Behind me, the window blows out from the heat. But above the piercing sound of shattering glass is the rustling of trees against a light breeze. A passing draft that carries even into this room from outside, cold enough to make me shiver, strong enough to fan the flames further. In the distance, I can hear the soft chirping of birds while the rest of the world stirs, wakes. Ever so slowly, darkness gives way to the warm morning hues. The soft rays of the morning sun, altogether spilling into the windows, stirring a distant memory. Of a laughter and a tender voice I long to hear one last time. She's been cured! Whoa! She changed into Charlotte.
I did not do it for you.
Dawn, at last. And she is free. Dusk to dawn. Whoa, alright. When she was burned at the stake. Poor Takako. Piecing the past, the final memory fragment. I knew you were the one that wrote the help me letter. I knew it was Charlotte who wrote it. It wasn't Takako at all. And there she is in the background, coming for you. She wasn't all bloody and terrifying then, though. Was Takako even haunting her, or was it just her guilt? Can't believe we're actually at the epilogue for this. Like the flames that engulfed the mansion that night, whispers quickly spread across Luxburn City after the incident. Officers who investigated it have deemed the tragedy of the Ermengarde mansion an accident. An unfortunate outcome of a long-rumored domestic dispute between Luke and Hannah Wright killing innocent lives. But for those who still believe in the stories of the old and those who know the truth, it is but a testament to the curse and the secrets the Ermengarde mansion has hidden for centuries. If there will come a time those will finally be revealed, only the ashes of the now ruined mansion know. However, on nights when the wind howls and thunder booms across the sky, some still claim hearing of voices where it once stood. They better not. I sacrificed a lot to get here. Everybody better be at peace. I swear. No children better have their necks snapped at the end of this. I will riot. Of cries and wails that fill the nights and desperate calls of help for anyone who dares listen. As for those who remain... Whoa, what am I looking at? It's kind of metal. Zachary Steele decides to give the movie industry another try a year after. This time he brings a film that tells of a harrowing experience under the shadow of the Ermengarde mansion's curse. Interesting. I'm trying to tell if there's like the flowers like lily, daisy, and mint and stuff, but I don't think so. I think I'm just looking for stuff that's not in there. With help from Rebecca Gales and Isabella Santos on production, he is able to bring it to life 2 years later. But unlike his first foray into the indie scene, this one turns out to be a blockbuster hit, gaining him accolades from several award-giving bodies. Although the film has brought him considerable success and opportunities, Zachary claims it'll be the last film he will be making, remarking that he merely wishes to tell the tale. A decision he has yet to change his mind on, much to his fans' disappointment. After the clamor for the movie has died down, he quietly returns to his freelance photography business, living a simple life in the same old apartment, away from the spotlight. All the same, he dedicates the film's success in honor of an unnamed friend. Okay, sure, we're just gonna cry over that. Determined to disclose the truth, Rebecca Gales writes a book detailing Luxburn City's true history, and used the same artwork. With help from Professor Andrew Clark, she pieces together every omitted information from current accounts. Charlotte Ermengarde's role in the city's foundation, and the truth behind the very woman who built it. Thus, in spite of the professor's stern warnings against bringing those to light, Charlotte Ermengarde has always been revered by the people of Luxburn, after all. And sure enough, upon publication it creates a huge stir. Although considered a masterpiece by some, even becoming a bestseller, it's also met with harsh criticisms from Luxburn's academic circles. Others believe it an attack to the city's way of life, outright condemning it. It doesn't take long for it to reach controversial status, and mere months after its release, the book becomes the subject of litigation. As a result, it has since been withdrawn from the shelves by the publisher. To date, Rebecca continues the effort to bring it back to the market, knowing its worth. A war that she seems to be winning in time. You go, girl. Doing it not for herself, but for the memory of a dear friend whom the book has been dedicated to. Which friend? That's some interesting paintings you're doing there, girl. Months after the incident, Isabella Santos has finally found the courage to pursue what she truly wants. Having made enough to keep her family afloat for a few years, with their blessing, she quits her job at Briar Realty Corporation and takes the scholarship offered by the local university. Slowly, she gains recognition, both in the local and international art scene, for her vivid depiction of death and suffering. Although continuously lauded for her talent, no one knows why she has chosen such a dark subject. She has kept mum about it throughout the years. Perhaps the closest answer the curious will get when she is asked is the slight shift of her eyes and the wistful look that crosses her face. a quiet glance towards a painting of a young man in her studio. Don't you do that to me. Her best-known work, and strangely, the only one from her collection with an ardent expression of life and of a love realized far too late. From the ashes! You're really gonna do that to me, game? And it is only during those short, candid moments that she ever smiles again. All that remains. Well, I'm glad all the friends came to visit at least. This time. Although now busy with their new lives after the curse, Isabella Santos, Rebecca Gales, and Zachary Steele remain close friends. A bond that has only grown tighter throughout the years. But even after so long, Ashton Frey's loss is still a grief all of them carry. And on the same day as what became known as Ermengarde Mansion tragedy to the public, they always make it a point to meet where he lies. Once a year, when they exchange stories and talk like the way they all used to. A shadow of what they were before the tragedy. Their way of coping with a sorrow that still looms over them. Though they never speak of it, will never, each of them know that his death is a wound that may never heal. They can only carry on. Okay, man, that got me. There was a lot in that ending that I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna speak over the tears now, if that's okay with everybody. From the ashes, Isabella.
The game was over before the rules were set. I've never been a winner. I didn't want to play.
I need to listen to that last song that played when Luke was burning the mansion, because it sounded beautiful. I need to listen to the lyrics and stuff for it. I was not expecting that. Probably should have. I'm anxiously awaiting to see what the epilogue is, because I'll be upsetting spaghetti if it didn't actually work. Because I mean, it should have. She turned like back to herself. Both selves. Both Takako and Charlotte got their prince in the end. How dare people say that there's still people crying for help? So many sacrifices were made so that those souls would be put to rest finally. I'm gonna have to get like my thoughts together for this whole game too. I mean, I have one more ending to do after this, but still, I'm just like, they did a good. I'm just thinking about the ending with Luke. If he's someone you love to hate and hate to love, I mean, he was a murderer. He killed his wife and children, and yet at the end, he gave up everything that he valued, especially his own life, and was like, I can't live with myself knowing they're trapped here. Saved Ash's friends, and was like, I'm probably going to hell and I'm never gonna even see my wife again, but on the off chance, I at least can die peacefully knowing that they're not trapped here anymore. Don't you put that sacrifice in vain, game. I swear. Him and Ash and Marianne and Hana. Grief. I can't believe I actually got the truth. I've been playing this game for so long. I can't believe I actually just witnessed it after all this time. I'm just like replaying the end where he like leaves the study and they go into the bedroom and he has like that final goodbye with Becca. That was really well done too. Alright, Kylie, this was all for you. I just thought, I love you, Kylie. Like, if Kylie shows up at the end with anything other than, like, I love my godmother, Becca, I'm just go nuts. Alright. We're almost there.
But my lone heart beats true.
These reviews are so funny. No Luke, Isabella, no bye. Alright, everybody. Let's hold hands. We're gonna see what happens. Kylie lived. Right? We go to the main menu. She didn't die! It worked! It worked! The curse has been broken. To heck with all you people being like, there's still voices calling out into the night. Shame on you for making me worried. Whew! We did it, guys! We got the true ending! Oh. I'm full of feels. I'm not even done with this game yet. I've got... Hold on. Let's take a look real quick. Is it Epilogue? Yeah. Oh, there's even, like... Good grief, there's variants for the true endings as well. I guess it's... What it is whether Rebecca ended up with Ash or Isabella did. So there's a couple of endings there. And I guess I'll have to run through real quick and just unlock those. It's gonna be, like, a very small variation. And then the main thing is that this other bad ending can be unlocked. And we've got 98% CGs. We're missing 2. Still 2 missing. But we got all our memory fragments now. Oh. When Takako died and when Charlotte died. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for me today. And next time we'll see what the other bad ending entailed. And then we'll be done. But thank you for joining me for this very long journey in the letter. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, I will see you later.